Otter that will analyze via AI. I've never seen Otter Note Taker, but that is a good idea, suggestion for it. That would keep you from having to like record it, and that way it like transcribes it. That's an excellent idea. I've never heard of that. Thanks. But the only problem is Google Meets I only have for 15 minutes, so I'd have to like restart it every time. But maybe I could like sit in my own meeting and do it. So if the emotional input worked well, we're going to try that for sports ball predictions next time too, to see how it tracks with that, as well as additional stock pricing. So I wanted to bring up something that I've done before, and to great success. I was in a remote viewing group that did spreadsheets like this on a weekly basis, and they would have like 10 people in the group. And I'll explain how this works in a second. But they'd have 10 people in the group, and they would send to three people each week and give them like a TRN. So this is your template to use for every TRN. And you just say, here's your TRN for the week, Jim Bob. It's 49811. And so Jim Bob would do his session on it. And it's not a remote viewing session. It's not an ideogram based session. You're kind of trying to draw either uh, you're essentially trying to draw the graph. And you don't know what the timeline is on the graph. You don't know if it's 24 hours, if it's 30 days, or if it's 60 days or 90 days or a year. You're just trying to get like your own impression. So it will always go like linearly, but you don't know like what the time is. So this whole open space is just it's not to make like a flash sketch. It's not to make like a drawing. You're essentially making like a graph based on your intuition. So let me clear this out again, try it again. Clear all the drawings. So, you know this open space right here, you want to make a graph for whatever crypto token, whatever stock commodity, whatever EFT, whatever price thing, but you don't know what it is. So you would just say, on this page, what do I feel like I should be doing? And it's not an ideogram. You're just like, well, it feels like up here and then maybe over down there. I feel like up here. I'm feeling that this is crossing like up here. That might be your session. And it might be telling you intuitively there are a couple places you should avoid, but there's going to be an upward trend toward the end of the month. Like I'm trying to give you examples that there's no right way to write in this graph. Any right way that your intuition shows you might be okay. You might feel like this is the right way to do your ideogram or your drawing or your graph chart for it. And that would be an acceptable thing. Then you write down here, what are your general impressions? I feel this sense of terror, of dread. What are my emotions with it? What's my confidence ranking on that? The Q will be a specific time plus a specific token or commodity. And I'll show you that in just a second as to like how I would group those together over a time sequence. So you're not going to know over here what these answers are. This is for you to then track on your own eventually to see what your statistics are. So let's say we're looking at, um, well, like, let me just do a couple more. So I feel like I'm looking at this empty sheet, taking a deep breath, I'm centering myself. It just feels flat. I don't get anything. There's nothing for me in this one. That's all I got. And that's okay. It's acceptable to get like a flat, nothing answer for it. Or I feel like it's going up. And you may feel the urge to write an arrow on your line if you feel like it's going up. And so that's telling us, or you're unconscious, that it's going up like at the end of this time period, but there is a dip. So it's a good time to buy, but you're going to have a sequence of it going up as well. You might also write something like, I feel like that's pretty overkill. Like we're not asking for that much intuition or that much input. We're trying to get like tighter, you know, bumps in it or tighter arrows or mountains and peaks in our session. Because that's just my unconscious kind of doodling. It's not really telling me anything. But really, I just want to feel like, is there an uptrend or is there a downtrend with this? So we're looking at another binary input. and we're doing it with our pen, or you could do it like in the air if you feel like you're useful at that or good at that. And then just what's your emotion? What's your sense of it? Then down here, close that. Uh, how do I stop annotating? I don't know. There. Oh, I closed that. Then at the bottom, it asks you what time you ended. And when you get the answer back, it's got a name up here. You can put your moniker up here. You can put your time and date. You can put the TRN. But it just says draw your general impression of the stock market, ticker, token at the time. Use the left box with your perceptions. Give me an ideogram, an era, a simple feeling. And you can just have one per like one direction or one movement or one perception of it. And so you could probably write, I don't need this anything over here. I don't need this doesn't need to be filled in until you get the feedback from it. So I'll send you the feedback on each of the TRNs, but here's a way that it's set up essentially. So I've got, all the tokens that will be used. Those will be cryptocurrencies, those will be EFTs, those will be minerals and stocks, and we'll be giving one or two of them to you each week to see how you do. There'll also be what you don't see, some type of temporal marker that says the price range of 3 months, 7 days, the 3 month price change, 7 days, the direction. This is like, I need to update this for 2026. I haven't made a new one, but I need to throw out the envelopes that I have from 2025 too. The last day of trading on the month, we're also looking at specific directions, a 48-hour trend line. Now, these are more things that you can take action on in the poly market because there are timelines on those bets as well. So if you look at 1 month price change, 1 week price change, a 90-day price change, there's also trading you can do like in, minute or second increments as well. Or we could have a ticker that says, any other poly market bet that is currently available. But this isn't another way for you to access your unconscious and give it free rein to make like a sketch or an ideogram or a doodle. How did I go with this myself? I am much more accurate with this. I call it the Financial Outlook Return Tracker or FORT. I'm much more successful with FORT, and I was in that group. And it was biggest problem was that there were people that would like not be correct and other people that were very good and very accurate. So that kind of skews the results as well. So I may work on only giving you each only one of these tasks at first, and see how you do, as opposed to giving it to the group, because individually I want you not to be overtasked by somebody else. So before we've been looking at group consensus and group, projections, but I want to focus now on individual group or individual projections as opposed to the group and see how you do individually. So you're not like riding another group's emotion. And I was excellent at this. I was hitting like 80% tracking on this fort sheet when I was doing it, even more accurate than my muscle testing, which was hovering around 60%. So I think that my fort was much higher, much more accurate at tracking what was happening over time. And this is something that I think we'll be using for the next week as well. So we'll be doing with new TRNs, I say, um, personal statements and emotional statements, and we're going to use this moving ahead just for this next week for our finances and our crypto tracking and our Bitcoin tracking to see how we do with it over time. And we can look at like past trends as well to give us kind of a baseline as to how we did, like we did for the first emotion statement. And that way it'll give us a good benchmark to see how accurate we are at projecting this. So does anybody have any questions on the fort sheet or how it works? Is it done quickly like an ideogram? No, it's different than an ideogram because this is an ideogram like that. And so the fort sheet gives you much wider, it's got a whole this space. It's got a lot bigger space to write anything. It's like a whole box. So what we're looking for is just what does my pen feel like the movement should be going left to right? And that's the only significance it is with, or the only parallel with an ideogram that you kind of move left to right, but we're just looking to move either a line or a graph or a direction from left to right so that we can look at linearly what does that look like on the exchange? What does that look like on the the pricing over time? It doesn't need to be a peak, you might want to like do a curve or make it more slopey or less jagged. There's no wrong way to do, well, there is a wrong way to do this, and making an ideogram would be the wrong way. So that's the only
So
wrong way to
how
do it.
long should it take us to actually do it, do you think?
How
Like
long
how
should this
long
take you
should
to
we be
do?
spending on this bit, the drawing bit?
Like 30 seconds, I would say. That's all the time it takes, maybe a minute.
So should we do like our flash sketch, like a little
There's no flash
um
sketch with this. There's
no no
no,
no no no, hang on. I'm saying like our little like tilt our head back and like blink or something, or do we just literally just sit down
no,
and
no, there's no sequence to this. You're not trying to see like the chart in your eyes. You're just trying to like, it's kind of more, um,
so it is idiom kind of like that quick sketch, but not specifically calling it an ideogram. We're just going by how we're feeling on the page.
yeah, like how it
But we should
feels.
be just using a little bit more time on this. Is that right?
Yeah, so the question Candace has
Okay,
from remote
thanks.
viewing training is when we start a session, we tilt our head back, close our eyes, and blink and open them and then do our flash sketch. And that is like your first baseline impression of what the target site is. That's not what we're looking for here because we're not going to see that chart in our mind's eye. Maybe you can get to that point, but that's not the way that we're going to structure it at first. But if you want to add that to trying to see the chart or the line of the sketch in your eye, you can give it a shot. But I'm just saying, right, use your intuition on that blank spot to say, where's my pen wanting me to go on this? And, like 30 seconds, that's tops. And then what are your general impressions? Here you could write, I was anxious, I was nervous, I feel like I'm not on point with this, I'm not connecting to it. What are my emotions associated with it? This is like a different query than our emotions with direct TRNs, but it's kind of like an adjunct or an add-on. So if you're feeling like it's not asking about the emotions of the task, it's more asking about the emotions of your experience through this. But if you do get emotions about the line that you made, you can write them down there as well. If I get like this and I'm feeling like uneasy or stay away, that would be indicative of what this chart is showing me, that there is a downward trend, and you don't know what sequence of time this is until you get the feedback for it. Um, but I want us to be able to take action on our financial return trackers immediately. So we've got like, 1 week, 3 day, 5 day actions that we can take to see where this is tracking. And it's not going to give, like, I may even have EM or EO. The question is the emotion mine or the emotion of others? The emotion of others is only about the statements with the TRNs that we use. So this would be like more emotion mine that we're trying to feel with regards to this. Remove the ideogram instructions. I don't know if there are. Use the left hand to, oh yeah, we'll take that out. It could be a line, an ideogram, an arrow, or yeah, that's right. It doesn't say that anymore. I didn't see that there. Um,
Oh, hang on. And it just says use our left hand. Oh no, use the left half. Okay, don't worry. Yeah, mad.
no, there is a remote viewing method where you're supposed to sketch with your non-dominant hand. I don't recommend that for this because I want you to have more like flow of it. So
Okay, and can I just clarify that we're not following the directions of that? Because it just says like on the right hand of the box, input data after the day.
say that,
So we're not doing two.
clarify what?
So number two and number three, like it says, use the right half of the box.
Uh, Yeah, that will be feedback. I'll change that too. So when I send this out, I'll update it so that it's got the feedback for this. So this will be after you do your session
Oh,
to be
I
done
got it.
once you get
Okay.
feedback. So you can't do this left side. or this right side without getting your feedback. So the only thing I want done
Okay.
is this left side at first. And then you can leave this blank when you submit it. And then when I give you feedback on it, then you can go back and write the ticker, the temporal sheet. So for that TRN, like I might write it so that I've got the TRN over here and then the TRN over here. So when you go back and look through, everyone will get their own unique TRN sheet with the task that they had. So you can look back and say, now I need to follow this token or I need to follow this stock or this crypto. But I'll rewrite this and so it looks a little bit tighter and neater. But this will be done after you get the feedback. Yeah, so we're only t like don't you don't need to fill in anything on this right side. That's all done. And you get this when some of these things are important and some of these things aren't going to be as important, but like I could change this to price the time of session to what we're looking at is how we can act on it. Like what can I do emotionally, directionally, and what's the word I'm looking for that is like it's not, it's like automatic sketching, like automatic, automatic writing when you let something take over you. Don't let anything take over you, by the way. But when you're doing that writing and it's not you, I kind of want this to be just like an automatic, non-thinking line that you draw. And then you go back and look at what is the direction at my forecast time. When I give you the feedback, you'll say, okay, now I can take the action myself or pause or pass on it. Um, and how am I doing? A hit is labeled as one and a miss is labeled as zero. So you'll get the answer, and then I'll also give you the answer at the time of feedback as well. You shouldn't avoid any watching any financial news or anything because you don't know what token we're going to add. You don't know what commodity is. You don't know if it's past, present, or future. And so it's won't affect you. I mean, knowing everything that's out there, there is dread right now. So that, I mean, separate yourself from that. But the whole thing in remote viewing, the whole thing in this practice is divorce yourself from the concept that you know what it is. And, just let whatever comes come, write whatever comes and draw it out. And then look at the feedback when you get it. Everyone did well with their emotion testing. And this is just like another subset that you'll be able to have like greater autonomy and action over as well. And everyone that's tried this has done quite well with it, unless you think at it. So thinking is again your biggest challenge to overcome. Just let the I don't care what happens. I don't mind. I don't know if I'm right or I don't care if I'm right. Just whatever comes, comes and write it down. And so I'll be sending out this fort sheet as well this week, but it's going to have individual asks. So if you're watching this video and you do want an individual tailored template for you, make sure you send an email with me for a financial outlook return tracker week 7 request because I'm only going to submit them to people that gave it to me this week and you guys that are here too. I think I've got everybody that's here, a couple people. I don't know Udnile. You can text me or send me an email. I want to make sure you get it as well. But everybody else, I've got it here. So any questions on the Fort sheet or the financial outlook return tracker sheet? I'm gonna fix this and change this a little bit so that it's now and current. And I'm gonna give better instructions with only use the left side, feedback, fill in the right side when you get it.
Do you have any ideas on how to like clear like say like you do the first question and it's like a strong emotional reaction and then you go on to the next one just so that like I just noticed that like the last few I wasn't really getting as much, you know. It seemed very blank like so so it doesn't bleed over like how do you when we do the CTT there's like you close, you know.
Ronan, we can't hear
Oh,
you.
I
Are you
muted
muted?
myself. I'm sorry about that. I said a lot of stuff. So
Shoot.
I did
It w-
say,
we
uh,
lost you. We lost you after her question.
oh, I answered the question and moved the taskbar, and I guess I drug it over. So thank you for the question. I'm going to move it down to four for your request because if five is too taxing, it may be that that fifth one is not as like impactful or you're drained. But I was saying that it is we don't think of it as stressful, but it is stressful to emote with others uh, over and over and over and over again. So maybe the five of emotional people is like too much of a drain. You can't hear me still?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. It says we can't hear.
Yep, it's old.
Oh, okay. Good, good. And I did say that I'm going to move this over as well, the end time on the left, so that it's more obvious as to, what to do in this Fort Sheet template, so that the end time is on the left side and that, you look at when I look back at it and when I did. Because this is for you on this side. I don't need to see this side. I don't need to know what your business is with this, but it's for you, for your own records to track and say what action I took on that forecast so that now you've got more autonomy in your own. Like I don't send me this right side. This is all for you. I'll just send you the uh the ticker for that TRN. You'll put in your forecast, you'll put in your investment taken, you'll put in your time to check the price to see what you should do on it. So if you knew the ticker was, it'll have the ticker or, coin or commodity and the temporal marker. So the marker will be like how far out do you need to look to see what the action was. So you might not have a good hit or miss ratio for a month. You might have to look back on your session a month later and say how well I did on this because that's for you to judge now, not me, because I want to take it out of my hands. So you have the autonomy to take action on this and make money at it yourself. Any other questions? Everyone's muted. Can someone unmute?
I have a question for you when you're done with your presentation.
Sure, I'm all done.
Okay, have you seen the Greg Braden video on remote viewing?
Greg Braden video on remote view.
Uh, yeah, his YouTube presentation or show on remote viewing. It was one episode in a series.
No, I haven't. I know Greg. I've heard of Greg, but I don't have the video.
UUIDney shared it with me. I think it's probably searchable pretty easily through YouTube, or I can try to grab the link quick. I'm on a couple devices right now, but UUIDney shared that with me, and it looked pretty cool. It spoke a lot about going into. I fell asleep to it, so I'm just remembering the first part of it. But on going into deeper states of consciousness, but right, remote viewing right before you fall asleep. It's pretty cool.
It seems like, how would you remember what you viewed? Or does it lead into like your dreams in a way? Or are you supposed to listen to the video as you go to sleep?
Well, we're he's a lucid dreamer, and I'm a bit of a lucid dreamer, and we're kind of practicing remote viewing techniques in dreams anyway. But the Greg Braden video was just discussing going into deeper states of consciousness. That's how the CIA project approached, and I didn't remember that was a main focus for them. So I have to go back and watch it, but I was just curious if you caught it,
Yeah, so
what your
what
thoughts.
I didn't see it, so I'll take a look at it. I'll read it. Usually I read the transcript or something. It takes less time than watching the video, and I'll look at it.
Cool.
And for me, there is things that are more advanced that they're doing at a CIA level for remote viewing. And one of my I saw this post on a forum about someone who was like an anonymous board. It was like above top secret or something, and they had posted in the forum on or maybe it was Godlike Productions. I think it was GLP. They had posted a GLP post about um, I know what they use at the military and how they like train remote viewers and what techniques they use. And so I underlined like that passage of that post. And then I screenshotted it and I printed it and I put it in an envelope along with like other envelopes that I had that have cues or target reference material. And then I can pick up any like envelope that's blank and I can write a TRN on the outside of it. And that takes like the blank TRN and imprints it onto whatever's in the envelope. Then I do a remote viewing session on it. Long story preamble there, sorry. So I took that post from GLP and I did a remote viewing session on it. Like at some point it came up in my blind pool. I can't know what I'm remote viewing. So I tend to like have lots of envelopes that have cues in them that I have forgotten. And I sketched this like almost teepee like area. This is for the how do they use remote viewers in the military. So there was this like teepee sized building that I said in my session was shaped like a Dalek, Dalek, from Doctor Who on the inside, that it was bigger on the inside than the outside. And they had all of these like red, yellow, green, blue flashing lights inside in like they were big bulbous like almost spotlights too, but they were like columnal lights inside of this teepee like thing. And there was a guy laying down on a cot and he had like some a headband on and he was strapped up to an this machine that was like pulsing at him. And then there was another guy in the room with him who was recording what he had said. And it I hadn't figured it out yet, but it I was looking at the Monroe Institute travels that the Psi investigators had done with the military. They had gone to the Robert Monroe's Monroe Institute, and he was using extended remote viewing, where you go into this deep delta state. You're almost asleep. You can't really remote view. You need like a proctor or a someone to guide you when you're sleeping to ask you questions about it. So I was remote viewing that methodology that they were using at Monroe Institute in my session, and I didn't know it in the session, but then looking at it, trying to figure it out, I was trying to see what they did. So I remote viewed the remote Monroe Institute training the military on how to do remote viewing. And I know like what machines they have, what they use there, what type of like it's different than the check unit. The check unit's like kind of an egg-shaped seat that you sit in. It was similar to that, but it was in a bigger room that they were using. This might be like a secret room too, where they use in special projects that they've got from military people. But that was fun. So you can review anything, and even if you don't know what it is or what it is, by using target reference material for it. And the reason I said that is because your question about the delta level in Greg Braden's video. So you do need to you can get down to the delta level. There, it's called extended remote viewing, but it's hard to do on your own because you lose like 60 probably percent of the lucidity when you wake up. But if you speak it and someone is kind of talking to you as you're in that delta state, then you could probably get better answers from it. And that's what the poster is referring to. Mystery solved. So you can go back to above top secret posts and now send me screen caps of them. Any question about anything else? Quantum entanglement experiments, instant communication transmits the same fabric as remote viewing. I wouldn't say that's, well, it's my own opinion on it, how it works. There are theories that remote viewing, you're looking at your future self to get the answers. There are theories that you're sending and projecting your consciousness to that secondary place to get the answers. That's what I feel it is. So you can entangle your mind with everything that exists in remote viewing. I will definitely watch that video and I'll post my feedback on it on the Patreon this week. Thank you for the suggestion. Any other questions about anything so far or this sheet? Well, I would like to wish you all a very happy Valentine's Day because Valentine's Day is coming up soon and I won't see you before then. I'll see you next Sunday, but I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. It's on the 14th, and I probably won't get any Valentines, but I hope you all get Valentines out there and get many. Thank you guys very much. It's great seeing you. I will, if you send me a little like heart card, I will. I have, I don't throw anything away, so I'll just get out all my old Valentines and pretend that people still like me. All right, thank you guys. Have a great day.